Hey ladies and gents, welcome back. How did you think about my last video? Well, if you don't think too much about my last video, you're probably still not going to think much about my video right now, because I'm going to be talking about my top 5 most hated episodes of The Walking Dead. Now before we get to the list, this is going to contain some spoilers, so be aware of that. You're not caught up to date. Spoiler alert. You're not off yet? Well, if you want to spoil it for yourself, then you stick around. It's not my fault, though. I would also like to say that the episodes that I hate are not like a full-on I hate you so much kind of thing. I do love the episodes in a way, but it makes me feel like it's bad. Number 5. The day will come when you won't be. This episode is a continuation of when Negan killed... Who? Oh, he never showed who he killed in the last episode of Season 6? Oh, well, yeah, that's right. They got inspiration from Breaking Bad, where there was a big shootout, and they didn't show who died until the next episode started up. Not only that, but if you also pay attention to behind the scenes, there were emails and, I'm sure, tweets that Andrew Lincoln was trying to write around how Glenn could still live. But nope. Daryl just gets pissed off that Negan is taunting Rosita in the episode. And then... What? What just happened? That doesn't happen in the episode. There you go. That's what happened. So if it's not bad enough that we lost our big ginger badass, we had to lose a guy who's not even a father yet.
Back to it.
When I first saw this episode, it scared the shit out of me. Just seeing their heads all smashed in and just seeing all the gore. They said they would never hit that high of the level ever again of gore or whatever. But the show is gory for a reason. But just seeing a human, like, that shit messes with your head. That messed with me. That stuck with me for a few days. That was fucking horrible. I do like the episode. I do like how they planned the story out, but they started it up at a bad time. They didn't properly kill off whoever was killed off from last season. They just showed a stupid POV shot, and it's like, oh wait, no, you're gonna have to wait another few months. Fuck you. Number 4. The Killer Within. This episode is back in Season 3, and it's the episode where Lori dies. Not saying that I hate Lori. I loved Lori's character. With a lot of people, I don't understand why they hated Lori so much. I mean, I thought she was cute. I thought she was pretty smart at times. The episode overall was just fucking sad. Like in the comics, she has no problem giving childbirth, and she survives through that. But then, what does Robert Kirkman write about the comics? Was this a better way to kill Lori off? In a way, okay, sure. If you want to pull on our heartstrings and tell us fuck you. The episode overall was pretty good. I like the fact that they kept Rick and Lori apart, and the fact that Rick finds out at the end, and especially his reaction is very heart-wrenching. But that's also what makes me hate the episode. It's sad. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the sad moments on The Walking Dead. Not like a weird psychopath or anything. I feel like the emotional moments are there when they're supposed to be there. But this just kind of went off the rails for me. And we all know the stupid meme that came up with this episode.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
You guys are dicks. Number 3. Thank you. I thought the episode was overall pretty boring. It still followed the story of trying to get the walkers away from Alexandria, and they're still split up. But the ending of the episode, if you know what I'm talking about, what the fuck was that? Oh, I see. So you did a fake out to think that Glenn was dead, and then a few episodes later, you think you could just say, oh no, he was fine. What was the point of ending it right there? I mean, I know a lot of people were pissed off at this. A lot of people said, no, Glenn can't die. And yeah, Glenn can't die. Until this. But if they actually had the balls to kill Glenn off right there, we probably wouldn't have to endure this. Number 2. Monsters. You remember in the last episode of Season 8, when you were watching this episode, and then when you got to the end of it, and then you remember that one guy from Season 1 that left? But wait. You had to wait for Season 8, Episode 2, and then you find out he's a savior? When I first saw this, I was like, that's Morales. That's Morales. And then I screamed at the top of my lungs and I scared the shit out of my friend. And then when the next episode came up, well, if you thought that Rick was going to reconcile with Morales and he was going to bring him back to the group, you thought that there was going to be a big fight or whatever, and then later Morales joins the group again? No. No. That's not what happened. This happened.
Wait, no!
You good?
Fuck you, Daryl. This episode is what made me hate Daryl so much to this day. Daryl is a big fucking dick. Now, don't get me wrong, I know Daryl had suffered at the hands of the Saviors. I know he was tortured, being starved, and eating dog food-filled sandwiches, and being stripped naked, but even if you were tortured, did you have to do that to Morales?
Wait, no!
Stop showing it! Stop! Stop. Now, before we get to number 1, I would like to talk about our next honorable mention. Forget. Yes, this episode was overall boring, and it even showed that, hey, Alexandria is not so much a bad place. This is Season 5. This is where our characters really start to become animals. And then, what happens? Aaron shows up. And then he says, hey, I got a new group, you guys want to come with? And then so, yeah, later on they do come with. Later on they go to a party. But what caused me to hate this episode so much? This scene.
But I'd have to tell my mom. I mean, I tell my mom everything.
You can never tell anyone. Because if you do, one morning you'll wake up and you won't be in your bed. You'll be outside the walls. The monsters will come. The ones out there. And they will tear you apart and eat you up all while you're still alive.
Okay, Carol. We can do this the Morgan way, or the way you like to handle every situation. And number 1, The Grove. If my last point about Carol wasn't perfectly clear, this episode will show you how much I hate Carol. Carol kills everything and anything in her path. She will not let a living, breathing piece of human flesh live because she thinks, oh, you're a threat to me. You remember in Season 2 when she had a kid? And then a few seasons later she killed Karen and David because she didn't want the virus to spread? Everyone else was still living. You killed 2 people and then everyone was still living. You let Herschel deal with it. He's a doctor. But then what happens in this episode? Well, you remember the twins? Lizzie and Mika? Well, Lizzie is a bit messed up in the head and says that, oh, walkers are people. I can prove it. Here's my dead sister. When she comes back, I'll prove to you that they are still people. Now, they could have just left her on her own. She could have figured out anything else. They could have just kept her and kept her away from the baby. But still, she's a kid. Kids are stupid. They're supposed to be. They're kids. Mika was smart. She learned the ways. But Lizzie, she was a bit messed up, but she's still a kid. But what's the solution that Carol figured out?
Just look at the flowers, Lizzie.
Carol, I understand that you're upset, and I understand you want to keep Judith safe. But you don't kill a fucking kid! I hated this episode for so long, and I still do. I still hate Carol because of it. And every fan says that she knows how to deal with hard situations. But nowadays, if you see a kid do something wrong, are you just gonna kill it? There was a million other things you could have done. But now that she comes across every person that she comes in contact with, oh no, you're a threat to me. I don't know you. You have to die. But what does Morgan do when he sees a stranger?
Howdy, neighbor.
Hello? Peanut butter?
Well, I sure do. I'd love some. You're nice.
Everything gets a return.
And what does Carol do when she sees a stranger?
Howdy, neighbor.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know you. What did you do? Ah! My nuts! My nuts! Oh,
And then what does Morgan say to Carol?
You don't have to kill people. Of course we do. Carol, you don't like it.
And then you know what happened? She finally learned her lesson.
Stop it. You don't want to do this. You don't have to. You told me we can be better than them. You said that to me. You don't want to do this. I know it. I can see it.
When Carol becomes Morgan and Morgan becomes Carol. Now again, guys, this is purely my opinion. And if you feel different about it, that's okay. Feel different about it. If you feel the same about it, well, thank you for liking my opinion in other different ways and stuff. And if you like this video, then hack the like button at the bottom of the video, subscribe, and share this video all around with people that are not Carol. And then I will see you guys next time.